number 11 of the Fatui Harbingers, codenamed Childe, but I also go by Tartaglia.
Tartaglia, also known as Childe, is a 5-star Hydro bow user. He is the 11th member of the Harbingers, which is the highest order of the Fatui. Looks can be deceiving, as he may still look the part of a teenager. But he is truly a wolf in sheep's clothing. Tartaglia is a deadly swordsman, the youngest among the Harbingers, but one of the most dangerous among their numbers. His skills persist of utilizing and switching between his bow and melee stances, and triggering the Riptide debuff amongst enemies to maximize Tartaglia's damage. How interesting. Combat talent, normal attack, cutting torrent. Normal attack, perform up to 6 consecutive shots with a bow. Charged attack, perform a more precise aim shot with increased damage. While aiming, the power of Hydra will accumulate on the arrowhead. An arrow fully charged with the turret will deal Hydro damage and apply the Riptide status. Riptide. Opponents affected by Riptide will suffer from AoE Hydro damage effects when attacked by Tartaglia in various ways. Damage dealt in this way is considered normal attack damage. Riptide Flash. A fully charged aim shot that hits an opponent affected by Riptide deals consecutive bouts of AoE damage. Can occur once every 0.7 seconds. Riptide Burst. Defeating an opponent affected by Riptide creates a Hydro Burst that inflicts Riptide status on nearby opponents hit. Plunging Attack. Fires off a shower of arrows in midair before falling and striking the ground, dealing AoE damage upon impact. When Tartaglia is in Foul Legacy, Raging Tide's melee stance, he cannot perform a plunging attack. Combat talent, Foul Legacy, Raging Tide. Unleashes a set of weaponry made of pure water, dealing hydro damage to surrounding opponents and entering melee stance. In this stance, Tartaglia's normal and charged attacks change as follows. Normal attack, perform up to 6 consecutive Hydro strikes. Charged attack, consumes a certain amount of stamina to unleash a cross slash, dealing Hydro damage. Riptide Slash, hitting an opponent affected by Riptide with a melee attack, unleashes a Riptide Slash that deals AoE Hydro damage. Damage dealt in this way is considered elemental skill damage, and can only occur once every 1.5 seconds. After 30 seconds, or when the ability is unleashed again, this skill will end. Tartaglia will return to his ranged stance, and this ability will enter cooldown. The longer Tartaglia stays in his melee stance, the longer the cooldown. If the return to a ranged stance occurs automatically after 30 seconds, the cooldown is even longer. Combat talent, Havoc Obliteration. Performs different attacks based on what stance Tartaglia is in when casting. Range stance, Flash of Havoc. Swiftly fires a Hydro-imbued magic arrow, dealing AoE Hydro damage and applying the Riptide status. Returns a portion of its energy cost after use. Melee stance, Light of Obliteration. Performs a slash with a large AoE, dealing massive Hydro damage to all surrounding opponents, which triggers Riptide Blast. Riptide Blast. When the obliterating water is hit an opponent affected by Riptide, it clears the Riptide status and triggers a Hydro Explosion that deals AoE Hydro damage. Damage dealt in this way is considered elemental burst damage. Passive talent, Never Ending. Extends Riptide duration by 8 seconds. Passive talent, Sword of Torrents. When Tartaglia is in Foul Legacy, Raging Tide's melee stance. Or if his normal and charged attacks do crit damage, they will apply the Riptide status effect on the hit enemy. Passive talent, Master of Weaponry. Increases your own party member's normal attack level by 1. Foul Legacy, Tide Withholder. Decreases the cooldown of Foul Legacy, Raging Tide by 20%. Foul Legacy, Understream. When opponents affected by Riptide are defeated, Tartaglia regenerates 4 elemental energy. Abysmal Mayhem, Vortex of Turmoil. Increases the level of Foul Legacy, Raging Tide by 3. Maximum upgrade level is 15. Abyssal Mayhem, Hydro Spout. If Tartaglia is in Foul Legacy, Raging Tide's melee stance. Triggers Riptide Slash against opponents on the field affected by Riptide every 4 seconds. Otherwise, triggers Riptide Flash. Riptide Slashes and Riptide Flashes triggered by this Constellation effect are not subject to the time intervals that would typically apply to these 2 Riptide effects. Nor do they have any effect on those time intervals. Havoc Annihilation. When Havoc Obliteration is cast in melee stance, the cooldown of Foul Legacy Raging Tide is reset. This effect will only take place once Tartaglia returns to his ranged stance.
So sorry. Shouldn't let your guard down. Direct assault.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Dodge this.
Oz revealed! By royal decree!
Finally. You're open. You can run, but you can't hide.
Swirl, part 2!
No time to look.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Man, that took longer than expected. Of course it did, fool. This character's more technical than the others. It's not just press a button and do a lot of damage. But I like doing that though. That's why I'm the better one, and you're the fool. I'm not a fool, okay? I just like not to think when I play games. That is the most foolish thing ever. Who likes to do that? Me? Exactly.